day one was yesterday.
Day one of the actual route was yesterday.
Of the actual route. We spent 2 days getting to the start. I'm going to let Travis tell this whole story because he's earned the right to do so.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Robin. It's not on the route, but let's go through my hometown. I just want to see my hometown and be nostalgic for the place where I grew up. Oh, I love this hill. I used to ride my BMX bike. Oh my God, I'm in the ditch.
Oh my God, Travis is loud.
So that happened.
Oh, the dude left. Okay. Yeah. So if you look up Canal Winchester, Ohio, and then you look up the corner of Mason and Slough Road, heading towards Lancaster along Slough Road. If you continue straight, you're heading towards a state park, and what it does is it shoots up over a hill. A crest of a hill, beautiful.
Banks left,
and it banks left really hard, really fast. Now, when I was like between 9 and 13 years old, on a single crank BMX bike, I would haul ass up that hill as fast as my legs would take me with friends, and then blast through that corner as if I was on a motorcycle. So now here I am, a grown ass boy. And I've got an actual big boy toy. And I approached this curve probably about 40 miles an hour. And that's, 40 miles an hour with skepticism. Like, okay, I don't remember it, but I think this is a pretty easy corner. 40 miles an hour is way, way baked. So I go into this, I can't decide. Okay, we have what's called the brake or swerve decision. And I'm like, okay, and by the time you're trying to decide, it's too fucking late. So I'm like, okay, brake. And then I start to lean through the curve, and then I realize, well, the front end is sticking towards the edge, and I'm like, I don't know if I haven't warmed up to this bike enough to think, can it do this? Is it going to make it through this? Can I lean it this low? Can I put my weight? Uh-oh, alarms. I'm thinking, can I put my weight in this position on this bike safely without the back end or the front end slipping out and just washing the bike out? And so I finally just said, fuck this. I straightened the bike, looked for a small outlet between the ditch and the median, the little non-median of lack thereof. And then I just basically dug into this pea gravel and then rocked it through that. And then all of a sudden my center stand caught a chunk of road, knocked the bike back onto the street, and the flowers are still standing.
So from my point of view, Robin was like going through the corner and then just stood the bike up and put his foot out for no reason and then ended up in the ditch. And was riding, and the ditch is only like, 10 inches wide and 6 inches deep, so he's in this groove on the side of the road, kicking up baby head rocks, and then he swerves back onto the road somehow.
What got me was the ABS. The ABS activated, and so I was just like, okay. Which is the opposite of how I should react to the positive use of ABS. Because it's a great thing, Stupid. I got to practice what I preach. But there's a quote, okay, first time for everything. It happened. I'm okay. Bike's okay.
So, outside of that initial...
reason to go to church?
Initial rough start. The rest of the day was fantastic. So we ran down... come down and around to the bottom of the triple nickel, and that was all pretty good. And then did the nickel, which is we've talked about before, is fantastic.
It's a blast.
Lots of tight corners and crests. And then the last bit we did was a John R. special, which was kind of more of the same, like some steep climbs, lots of tight corners, lots of crests and hills, and a lot of the road half disintegrating down into a cliff, where like you're going down and the whole right half of the right lane is undermined and crumbling down into the valley.
If you remember being a grade school student and how you would draw roads on the side of a hill, like two-dimensionally, as though they were just glued diagonally to the side of the hill, there was a lot of that.
Yeah. So you had to pick lines, some potholes, and there's always a place where it's like one lane road ahead because the road had undermined itself away.
They maintain it annually.
But tight, twisted. By the end, though, we were done. The last hour, we're just cruising through like up these like 8% grades.
Yeah.
Switch back in through the woods.
Yeah, some of them weren't even switchbacks. They were just 8% grades. Like straight up the side.
And we were in that one little town where like this street comes down like it's like gotta be like a 10% grade down this street. And
in the town.
And then it just hits a flat road. And it's like it's like pulling up to a wall.
You can see the seam of the hill ending into a drain into the road at a stop sign.
Yeah.
And you're just hanging there like doing an endo, doing a stoppie. You're just sitting there doing a stoppie, waiting for the light to turn green.
Yeah, the bike cantered down and brakes locked. That was wild. But
can't keep up this physique without that kind of structure.
And then we went to some place here in New Martinsville, Captain's Quarters or something like that. It was a nice little restaurant bar.
That was tasty.
It was quiet. There was no one there on Sunday.
To back up, the summary of yesterday is that it was just it was 320 miles of constant intensity from the start of the actual route's beginning to the end of the day. It was sort of like eating ice cream for 3 meals when you're a kid. It's just like, it's great until you're just like, whoa, you can't have some more marzipan. Like, it's just too much, and then we were just done. But today,
a lot of intense, a lot of second gear for this corner, third gear for that corner. Okay, shift, go, turn, left, right. Is that what's over that crest?
And I finally just gave up and just stayed in third gear. I started in third gear. I stopped in third gear. I think my bike is still in third gear right now while it's parked. And but the restaurant, the food was good. Bar was all right. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yep. So that's day 1 recap. We're starting day 2. It's cold again. It's like 36 degrees right now. It's 7 a.m. It should be 45 by 9 when we set out. And then it's going to be like in the 80s by the time we get to wherever we're going. Somewhere in Virginia.
Warm Springs, Virginia.
Yeah,
this will be the pricey day. We're going to a very nice hotel, and there's very nice food nearby, and so this will be one of the spendy. I think there's only 1 or 2 spendy days, and this would be one of them. The rest of it's just like, here, eat the carpet. It's both carpet and breakfast.
Not $9 shrimp dinner with 5 sides like last night.
God.
RideObsession.net.
It's .com. That is the stream next to the Warm Springs Inn here in Warm Springs, Virginia. Not West Virginia. Quite a difference between Virginia. Quite a difference between Virginia and West Virginia. And we've just finished breakfast, gearing up, getting ready for what will be this will be day 3, right?
Day 3 of the official route. Yeah.
Well, of the advanced route. Although today's an easy day, there is no advanced version of today. But yesterday was only day 2. Travis, what do you remember?
Actually, day 4.
It would whoa, look at that, check it out.
What?
Got a 1200 GS.
DR 650.
Yeah.
Couple of adventure guys.
That's a lady rider.
On the DR?
Yeah. Kicking butt.
Single. Dumping.
So, yesterday did not start out great.
What was yesterday?
Yesterday I woke up and told you, hey man, by the way, today is going to be a lot easier than day 1.
And it wasn't.
It was not. Because we were doing the advanced route, which then became the not route. Because
you had some technical issues with your navigation.
The Garmin.
And we ended up on this road that wasn't. It was so rough. I think we got some video of it. It was so rough and potholed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically off road, and we were stuck behind a semi truck, and then they were doing some sort of construction project on a section of that road, not like on the road, but like off, like along that road. And so the semi-truck had to stop for a section and wait for this caravan of heavy equipment to come through.
It was oversized load after oversized load.
Yeah, and like some other semi-trucks, and like you can't, and the road just can't handle it. And then we're just like picking our line through the potholes and trying, and the gravel and the sand.
This was all supposed to be a new improvised way to get from where we were staying to the route outside of Parkersburg.
Yeah, well, then we rolled into whatever that little town was, and I looked at my navigation. I'm like,
there's no line.
I was like, well, it wants me to go back up the road we just came down.
Yeah.
And then we realized that we weren't supposed to go down that road at all.
Let me take over on this part. So here's what's happened, and this is Garmin at its worst. Garmin units, anybody who sees me bust out my phone to use it as a GPS device for custom routes says, well, why don't you just get a dedicated GPS unit? And I'll tell you why they're not quite as good. First off, it's dated tech. Every modern GPS unit behaves as though it was made in 2001 because it has a limited number of waypoints that it can use from a GPX file. And GPX is standard. And so they limit you to 500 waypoints. Second off, if you have rerouting enabled, everything becomes as the crow flies, meaning ride your street bike over that mountain directly through the trees.
To the next waypoint.
Okay, thirdly, if you do disable automatic recalculation, okay, then it'll put you on the roads. The only problem is, then it just defaults to whatever navigation structure you would normally use to point you directly to your end destination. Now, there is a way around this. I haven't figured it out yet, but the problem is, why is this so hard? Why is it that a $600 instrument is not as good, that's dedicated to the task, is not as good as a $400 phone, that it has multiple apps and tasks? That's what happened. So I got, finally I just reached out to Travis. I was like, Travis, I'm starting to get really upset here. And you took over and got us back to the route where I defaulted to my phone, and everything became what?
Yeah. Yeah, and that was good. I mean, coming over through the Appalachian, across the Appalachian Mountains here, just switchbacks, 25 mile an hour. You come down around this, switchback corner, downhill, right-hander. You look up, and all you see is pavement, more pavement going up, and then you dive left, and you dive in the road looks like a freaking
roller coaster.
Yeah, it looks like a twisted donut or something, because it's just like
it's a luge.
None of the surfaces, like all the corners are banked. Like it's so banked, and you're going up and over these banks and ridges and curves, so they can put these big ass trucks down them.
One of the things that's good about this tour is the ability to get to know your bike, and I learned a couple of things about my own riding. I kept on telling myself, man, why is Travis keeping up so good? I should be able to outride Travis. I'm on the Beamer, yada yada, sport touring, blah 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 blah. But the fact is, his bike, we both have really good suspensions. But
no, I don't.
Well, you don't, but you have a tall suspension.
Yeah,
you have a tall suspension, and that's a big plus. Mm-hmm. But I learned that I realized, well, shit, I forgot about the wheelbase on the Beamer. The wheelbase from front to back, it's bigger than the Bandit. And your wheelbase is smaller than the Bandit.
Yeah.
So you've got probably 3/4 of the wheelbase of the Beamer, which going into some of those tighter curves, like I have to lumber it.
I don't know if it's quite 3/4, but it's a couple inches shorter.
It's a couple inches shorter. I'd say a few. We should compare it. We'll count.
Yeah.
We'll measure. But the other thing I realized is, despite the discrepancy between various small towns having different rates of speed for their 25 mile an hour to 40 mile an hour curves, the ones that are designated for a specific
where there's
speed.
the sign says, this is a 35 mile an hour curve, and sometimes that means, I can put it in fourth gear and go through it at 60, and sometimes that means, no, I got to put it in third gear and go through it at 40.
Yeah, right. And I think they do that for 2-track vehicles as opposed to motorcycles, which are single track.
And it seems pretty consistent for like a pass. Like once you go into the next county, it'll kind of change.
And fortunately, I've got more revs available to me, RPMs available to my tachometer. So if I see a 2 in the sign, I'm in second gear. If I see a 3 in the sign, I'm in third gear. If I see a 4 in the sign, I'm in sixth.
Yeah, mine's a little more complicated. Usually it's like if it's 25, it's third gear. If it's 30, it's third gear. If it's 35, it's fourth gear. If it's 40, it's fourth gear. If it's 45, it's fifth gear.
There's a whole algorithm.
Yeah. It
What
was
else?
15 in second gear.
What else did you tell it? What did you like yesterday?
I like how we were like, oh, it's not that much farther, go over a mountain. Oh, it's not that much farther, go over another mountain. I think we're almost there. Go over another mountain.
Yeah. Twisty.
It's like, oh, I see a sign that says Warm Springs, like 26 miles. Go over 3 more mountain passes, and then you're there. I mean, they're at the Appalachians, and we're not going over the Rockies, but like switchbacks up, switchbacks down for 15, 20 miles.
Takes a minute.
Yeah.
And then the last section coming into town, we're already completely zonked and done with riding. And,
beautiful though.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We should have stopped more and taken more pictures.
We did stop for the first time though.
Yeah, because there was definitely some scenic outlook. So I really thought, I was like, oh man, I should. Well, never mind.
That was yesterday.
Yeah, good time. Oh, and Warm Springs Inn, fantastic. The the water wheel restaurant or whatever, the something grist mill station or whatever it's called.
Big thanks to Mike
the bartender
over at Water Wheel,
for making some bitching cocktails. Well, you just drank wine.
I just drank wine.
But I had an awesome Manhattan.
Travis doesn't put a natural smile on often, but when he has a good Manhattan and it's done properly, that was a real smile on your face. Like, yes, this is correct.
Yeah, no, it was really with for local-ish Virginia rye in there, so that was good.
Yeah.
Concoction or something like that. I forget what it was called.
John Cocktosentoe. Sorry, that's Fletch reference.
It was good. We both got fish. I got seared trout, really good.
Got the salmon.
They had fiddleheads on the menu though, which always makes me go, meh. But otherwise, the menu was really good.
On to today. So now we're gonna ride on to today. We're gonna ride the Meadows of Dan. We'll tell you how that goes later. Ready?
Yeah.
We are at my parents', and it is today technically is day 4, right?
Day 4 of the route.
But we're not talking about that.
6 or whatever of us.
Well, yes, day 4 of the route. We can always day 4 of the route, but technically we need to talk about yesterday somehow. Considering what we went through today, which was incredible, we won't be able to get to that until tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
I don't really remember much of that.
what happened yesterday? I don't. So
What did we do? Yesterday we just blew up BRP, right?
Well, it was easy. So we started out in Warm Springs, Virginia.
And it started with some hot stuff.
At the Warm Springs Inn, which was gorgeous, by the way. And then we started.
Wait, who was at the Warm Springs Inn?
That's the Warm Springs Inn is where we stayed. And then we went to Water Wheel.
2 nights ago.
Was that 2 nights ago? Where were? Yeah, but we left there.
Yeah, so day 3 was Warm Springs Inn. Yeah, we went to the Water Wheel restaurant, got some fancy dinner.
It was pretty good. Mike took care of us. We may have talked about that a little bit.
Mike the bartender, yeah.
Good guy, good people.
Yeah, we did it that morning.
Yeah.
And then we rode a couple of some good tight twisty West Virginia.
Yeah, it started out hectic, kind of.
Well, I guess that's Virginia, but like that West Virginia tight Appalachian mountain kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was good.
And then we hit the BRP,
which was mellow.
And it was just solid BRP the whole way, right? Afterwards, we got it. Yeah.
Stopped and took some photos a few times.
Yeah, Blue Ridge Parkway is just, man. Once you ride a lot of those switchbacks, you got the Blue Ridge Parkway. We're just doing the absolute post-legal speed limit of 80.
Yeah, of 80, 75 to 85 miles an hour most of the time, unless we saw white pickup trucks that might be Park Patrol. In which case, we immediately we wanted to wave to them, so we slowed down to a nice patient 40 miles per hour.
Yeah, or turkeys, or...
Yeah, Travis had a wild turkey take off full launch and fly in front of him for about 20 feet before finally figuring out that it wasn't fast enough.
Yeah.
And it went straight up.
So then, I mean, most people are pretty good on the BRP. Like, you get stuck behind someone for a while, they'll slow down and wave you by, or pull off and wave you by. I want to say, like, when we were closer to Roanoke, because you get a lot of commuters actually on the BRP near Roanoke. But other than that, everyone seems real nice. There was a lot of bikes. There was a gaggle of gold wings.
Yep.
A flock, I guess, of gold wings.
Yep, saw some new model gold wings go by, too, during the break. Remember, was that where I was at a break and I just picked it? you thought I was like 10 miles ahead of you. I was maybe like a minute ahead of you.
Yeah.
And I pulled off to a break for a variety of natural reasons. Mm-hmm. And you came rolling up and we're like, you know what? I didn't even see you. I just chose this spot to take a break.
Yeah. Just trying to happen to choose. It's like, I couldn't see him from the road where the pull-off was, but it happened to be the same pull-off spot. So that was pretty cool right by the river there.
Pretty.
But yeah, BRP was easy, man.
Yeah.
It's like you do these hairpin mountain roads. You get on the BRP where it's just kind of lazily winding. Yeah. Beautiful views.
Some sweepers, some tight sweepers, but still sweepers. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Maybe the occasion. There's that awesome, the sharp turn ahead has a motorcyclist flying off the cliff. That sign.
Yeah, which we now have for permanence.
Yeah, a couple of pictures of.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of like big kind of corkscrew curves, but nothing that's tight. And that was day 3.
That was day 3.
It was an easy day.
So today was day 4, right?
It was day 4.
Do we want to talk about today yet? Are we ready to talk about today yet?
Yeah, we can. Well, it's in our head before we forget.
So today,
we were in Meadows of Dan at the Woodbury Inn.
Record.
We already said all this because Robin forgot to hit record.
Yeah, so we're just going to blather this out, okay? We had a really good description of everything that happened today, but at least now we've gone through it once and we remember what happened.
Yeah, because we don't really remember what happened.
Last night we stopped at the Meadows of Dan. Last time we started the Woodbury Inn and Meadows of Dan, and we were taken care of by Belinda and Mike. This morning we woke up, having gone to bed last night at 8 p.m.
No, I went to bed at 8. You went to bed at like 6.
I went to bed at like 6. Woke up at 5 a.m. and we're on the road. We had breakfast at 7. They shook their heads. We're wondering why we did that. 7 a.m. breakfast. On the bikes at 8. On the road by 8:05. Rode 3 miles of the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah.
And immediately took the advanced detour, which was
just mountain switchback.
Eye-opening.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Unexpected.
Marked 15-mile-an-hour corners that you take them at 30, and you come out of the corner, and you look, and you just see a wall of asphalt, and you ride your motorcycle up the wall, and then you bank hard, and then you come back and you just do that for 20 minutes.
Is a little bit too much for that early in the morning, but we did it. Travis a little bit better than me. I was still waking up trying to find my confidence, trying to remember how my bike worked.
I started out strong and then started to fade near the end of the day. Or we both started to fade near the end.
Yeah, the end of the day was just. Yeah.
But then we got back on the BRP for a bit.
For a stint, enjoyed the
and
scenery.
Then blew the turn off for the second. Was it 2:30?
We missed 229. We missed the beginning of the advanced section for 229. Doubled back to find it and ended up riding it backwards by accident.
Yeah.
And it was freaking phenomenal. So in the last version of our attempt to do this, we talked about how it was like doing the 11 miles that is the Tail of the Dragon for about
100 miles.
Yeah, 160 to 100 miles.
Well, that was maybe like 60 miles, and then we did all said and told today, hundreds of miles of the trek.
So if you think about how commercial the Dragon can be, everybody knows about it. It's maintained more than normal because it's a frequented motorcycle pastime location. This was all of the same kind of chaos, only it was never scouted or maintained for that purpose.
Yeah, so there was some gravel and some loose patches. And
we just beat the crap out of it. See the video.
And big elevation change. That's the difference. It's like you're going up the side of a mountain and you're doing these switchbacks and you just keep climbing. And then you're doing it and you're going down and you hit those hairpins. And that always seems like there's like a right-hander and then there's a hairpin left. And then you bottom out and then you start going back up again.
Which I did. I bottomed out once today. And I was making the joke before that it's like we always saw a road. I could never tell, is that the road that I just came from or is that the road that I'm about to go to?
Well, and like some of them you can see, the exit, like you can see across to where, because you're going downhill, you can see across where where the road comes back after you do the corner, and it just looks like it's painted on the side of the mountain, like it's banked so steeply.
Yeah, like the Globe of Death from the circus.
Yeah.
A lot of this is rehearsed material, but the fact is it looks like that Globe of Death where you got 3 motorcyclists riding vertically over each other.
And there's this guy that pulled out on John, we didn't get his last name.
Oh yeah, that's a good, yeah.
Pulled out on a Ducati Scrambler, was behind us for a bit, and then we were going the legal speed on the Blue Ridge Parkway, but somehow left him behind.
John, if you're listening, hello. He's a Floridian who just retired to basically the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah. And he stopped when we stopped at the gift shop or something like that.
Yeah.
And we chatted with him, and he had was it him that said that? Like, it's like you're chasing a set of taillights you can't catch because they're yours.
Yes. You can't catch your own taillights, but if you're trying to chase a set of taillights, be careful because they might be your own.
Yeah.
You be chased by your own headlights.
Because the road's so twisty.
It just kept going.
And then we
go on. You got it.
Oh, so then we did like a nice long stretch of BRP, which was like boring. It's like doing the interstate now after doing all this other mountain road stuff.
If you're going to be bored, the BRP is the way to do it.
Yeah, it's like, because it's just these nice, especially even when you're doing 80, it's these nice like rolling curves, beautiful views. And then we got off on the highway, something else, and then Highway 80. Which, the Highway 80 was like 100 miles of the Dragon.
Yes. And I don't remember any of it.
Yeah, and we were just spent. And at that point, it was like eating ice cream all day long, like every meal. I was like, you want more ice cream? No, here's more ice cream.
Okay.
And it's just so much like tight, twisty, technical, crazy, amazing riding.
Can I have a glass of marzipan?
But yeah, by the end, you're just like...
fried.
You're just like, wow, you're like tired of amazing road. You're like, can I just have like some boring road for a little bit, please?
Yeah, we arrived here and my mother was like, so did you have fun? Do you have fun every day or something? I reached the point where it's like, yeah, every day I wake up and I get on the bike, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then we go out and it's like, yeah. And like for the first few hours, I'm like, yeah. But then I start to get to that point where something big happens, some major chunk of road that's extremely pinnacle to the day. And everything after it is beautiful and awesome. And I'm simply just going, oh yeah, this is really, really good riding.
Yeah.
It's
like going to Disney World or Six Flags. Like, it's fun, and you ride all the rides, and then like, by the afternoon, you rode all the rides and you ate all the junk, and you're like, oh, I guess I go ride some more rides.
I'm having fun. Which actually we were having fun.
Yeah.
But if you can't see the finish line, you wonder how much fun are you capable of having.
Yeah, but I mean, it was still, there's definitely, but like that. I just remember that last section, I was smiling in my helmet and not smiling I was having a good time.
Yeah,
the road was, I wasn't smiling because the road was amazing. I was like smiling at the ridiculousness of like, oh, great, more amazing technical mountain roads.
You're just done. It's like everybody likes every kind of food, but then how much food can you eat in one sitting?
Yeah.
And that...
they said with 3 days of more of it to go.
Yeah, that was today.
And tomorrow is Terre Haute Skyway, Tail the Dragon, and the something Foothills.
The Foothills Parkway. The Foothills Parkway is kind of mellow, but it's definitely more hectic.
It's like 320 more miles of like beautiful amazingness, except for Robin's got to miss some of it.
Oh yeah, I get to go replace my tires because my tires are fried.
His back tire's fried. We discovered that when we came off of Highway 80.
Stay tuned. More soon.
So let's see here, everybody. This is technically, this is supposed to be day 5 of our Trip 7's tour. 7 states, 7 riders, 7 days. And Travis Burleson, our own, is out starting the Terre Haute Skyway to the Dragon, to the Foothills Parkway, on up to Knoxville to meet friends for whiskey at the end of a long day, while I am, irresponsibly at a BMW KTM dealership having my marshmallows replaced. The tires that I rode down here on had a couple thousand miles on them. I think the shift assist, I've been beating the daylights out of that. I'm pretty sure that second to third through 229 off of the Blue Ridge Parkway probably turned them to molten rubber. And I'm here with John Hendricks, is it correct?
Hendrickson.
John Hendrickson. That'll be edited. I'm here with John Hendrickson at Eurosport Asheville. BMW and KTM. Anything else?
Yes, sir. No, just used bikes of all kinds.
Used bikes of all kinds. So, but you are a BMW dealer,
Right, and we trend more towards dual sport motorcycles. The majority of what we sell.
I took some photos of anybody else was here. They'd noticed that there's a lot of GSs, a lot of dirt ADV class bikes. And so, how long have you guys been here?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, in July.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys saved my day. There were only 2 options I really had, and this one stuck out as not only being one of only 2 options, but really knowing your stuff. 7 years. Is this the only location you've ever had?
Yes.
Okay, so no expansion yet. It's just been one location, and
So the story of the shop is a couple of enthusiasts decided to open a motorcycle shop. They're in the hospitality business and other businesses, but one is a national champion off-road racer. And everyone that works here is an enthusiast who has been stranded. So we're very sympathetic to that sort of thing. People have gotten service or gotten their bikes in here when we're closed on Sunday and Monday.
That's cool.
The owners monitor the phone and stuff, and they're very good. We started out really small and have grown. We're one of the highest volume GS dealers in the Southeast.
Wow.
We're selling 75 to 80 GSs a year, and that's just 1200s.
I would think that for this landscape, that makes a lot of sense. Your demographic is to always be ready for an out road to take the dirt where you need to.
Right.
Or any of those offshoot dirt roads that appear out of nowhere. This would be the perfect place to get the bike that would do that. That's the religion right there. If you're off in the later hours available for somebody who's stranded. For our tour specifically, you're central to almost 3 states that we run. So if we really run into trouble, it's good to know that we have somebody to lean towards. If we can fall into your hands in this dealership at this location, then we know we can get things fixed. We don't run with a chase car. So we have 2 designated leaders who are over-equipped for situations, but don't always have the tools. I also noticed that you have an F800 GT back there for sale, $7,000. I happen to know a man who should probably start looking at lighter bikes at this particular stage in his graduation. And so I'm going to reach out to Bob Theate about coming down here to take a look at that specific model back there.
We sold that bike new. It's a one-owner, retired gentleman owned it. He moved from that to a 1200 RS, so same style bike.
Yeah.
He's probably late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Anything it needed service-wise, it always got. It's not perfect, but and that's a great bike for the asphalt around here.
Yes. Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say that I actually have trouble keeping up with the ADV bikes on my R1200 RS. All my friends on ADV bikes are more comfortable and able to handle the corners almost better than I can, whether it's wheelbase or whatever.
Hey, John.
Hi.
At any rate, Eurosport, Asheville, North Carolina, here with John Hendrickson, who has saved my behind by putting me in touch with Matt.
Yep. Yeah.
And are going to hopefully have me back on the road here for a no matter how painful the price, just get me rolling again.
Well, store policy has always been, if you're on the road, you go to the front of the line. If we have to crash order a part, we delivered a bike to a guy 2 days ago that was, he's from 7.5 hours away, and he was down here on a relatively new BMW. It had like 800 miles on it, and his final drive went out. We ordered the part overnight, put him on a demo, and customer for life now. So and he's a super guy. It was the whole deal was fun for us. So
I'm shaking with gratitude. I'm not sure which questions to ask. There's too many ways I'd like to be good to this myself. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the general public that doesn't listen to us?
Get a motorcycle. You don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, let's get the culture revitalized.
For if you've got $100 in clean underwear, you are completely free for the whole weekend. You can go any place you want to,
especially if it's Kevlar armored.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Sure, my pleasure.
Okay, here we go. So we're live. It's the beginning of day 6 now.
Yeah, so
we're covering day 5.
Yeah, here, do this. You'll be happier. You'll be happier you did.
Okay.
So we got to talk about yesterday, which was day 5.
So we woke up in Asheville at Robin's mom's.
At my mom's house. My parents' house, my mom and Bob.
And Robin had to go up into Asheville proper, because we were actually in Etowah, like south of Asheville, and get new tires.
Yes. So normally I'd probably pay about $200 to $250 for tires
online,
and then I have a friend who does tires on quite a grandiose scale for $20 per. It would have cost me about $250 to $300 to get my tires done. Instead, because of it being,
it would have been like $320.
fair enough. But in this trip, it was $515.
Yeah, that's dealership labor cost.
So I've switched credit cards for the remainder of this trip.
That's also, but they did the full service. Like they took the wheels off and they put them back on.
I will say,
because when you go to Norm, you bring the wheels off. You bring them off the bike.
Yeah, you hover your bike and then you bring your wheels. But I will say that getting to the actual dealership to get that done, which I did an interview there, getting that done, not a big deal. Getting from the dealership to Deals Gap Resort and Motorcycle Restaurant, all that stuff. Yeah, it was not. It was actually quite beautiful. It was actually really quite pretty riding there. So I switched the bike to road mode, ran into a bunch of GS riders from stop to stop, took long breaks, relaxed, enjoyed the scenery. I actually had a really good day. I was bummed that I didn't get to ride the Terre Haute with you at all. But it's hilarious that I entered the Terre Haute right as you came up from around a corner.
Out of it,
yeah.
So I went, I followed the route through the Pisgah Forest out of south of Asheville there, and then up, and then did some twisties. So it was a 276 there through the Pisgah Forest. And then did some other twisties that were pretty technical and kind of dirt biking a lot of that because I was just tired.
I've never ridden what got you from my folks' doorstep to the Terre Haute.
Yeah.
So I think more like Robbinsville. I think did you end up in Robbinsville?
I don't know. That was like Tellico Springs is where
Tellico Plains.
Tellico Plains is where I got on the Terre Haute.
Right, and I think that I get you to there from Robbinsville. From Robbinsville to Tellico Plains I've ridden, but from my mom's doorstep to there, I haven't touched that. So you're the only person who's seen those roads for the site.
I'm the only person who's seen them ever.
Yeah, they were made for you, sir.
Then it was basically just taking 64 over, which was kind of highway. Got stuck in some construction there east of Murphy, and there was one lane, and there's a pilot truck, so I had to stop for a long time and was waiting. And I was looking at the map, being like, "Can I get around this?" And it's like there's like a national forest road that I just passed, which I'm glad I didn't take because it was probably all gravel, and two, it dumped you out right to the middle of the actual construction. Mm-hmm. And then the pilot truck comes, we start going, and then I see, and we're just going 15 miles an hour. And I see old Highway 64, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try that. And I see where it connects far enough up and figure it's on the other side of the construction. And so I turn down it, and then it goes to gravel, and then it goes to kind of pavement, and then the rest of the way it's like it used to be paved. This is pretty rough pavement.
So is it like washed out?
It was just really bumpy and like uneven. But the
you said it was Old 64.
Old Highway 64.
Old Highway 64.
And it was it was fun though because I kind of just dirt biked. It was like all the switchbacky mountain twisties we'd been doing, but it was rougher, so it was a little slower, but a lot more fun. Well, not a lot more fun, but different kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I passed a group ride that was coming up that way, and it was like a GS and a Cruiser and like a K1600 and a KLR. It was weird. It's on the video somewhere. And then did that, and then back on Highway 64. And then I think that the route puts us on 294 past Murphy.
Yeah, but when you got back on, you ran into the lady right where you left off.
Oh yeah, when I got back on 64, I slotted back in traffic exactly where I had left. So that tells you either how fast I was going down this twisty back road or how slow they were going.
Yeah, certainly says
how
much more fun you can have if you just make a decision to deviate.
Yeah. And then 294 kind of cut back to 64, and that was actually a really good little stretch there. 294 was pretty fun. And then 64 north of Ducktown there, north of Turtletown, was actually pretty good. It was pretty twisty there over the mountains, the Tennessee, North Carolina border. And then up the Tellico Plains and then the Terre Haute Skyway. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was definitely Robin Dean territory because it was all fast.
That's probably why I fell in love with it. It's fast, it's sweepers.
And it's tighter than the BRP. It's similar to the BRP, it's higher. But there's more tight corners that are fast. Like the air quotes 25 mile an hour corners. I was doing 55 through them.
Easy peasy, no problem.
Yeah.
So then we converge right as my tires are done. I've passed by Deals Gap Resort. I've seen what its circumstances are. I continue on down 129 all the way to the entrance of Cherhola. Run into Travis, get a couple really, really good photos. Those were really nice. And then rode back, and then we took a break, and we kept waiting for our window to get on the Dragon. Now here...
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Biscuits and gravy.
Everything is okay for right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Have enjoyed.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're waiting for our opportunity to ride the Dragon. Here, I'll put this right here, and then it'll be a little bit more distance from the table.
Sure.
So we ride the Dragon. Oh, wait. We're waiting for our window, and every now and then you just see something really slow start up. So, okay, we wait. Something else slow starts. Okay, we wait.
There was a camper van.
There was a camper van. But what we did...
An old 70s camper van was clapped out.
Old 70s camper van.
And there was a mini rally going on.
But some of those were going kind of quick.
Yeah, the minis. But there was just a bunch of minis around.
There's a lot of them. The secret that I learned, and this is what we did in summary to get started on the Dragon, it wasn't that we waited for a window. We got on the Dragon and waited for somebody to arrive behind us, and then gunned it.
Yeah, so we just pulled out of the resort there and found a little shady corner, or the first corner, and then just sat on the shoulder until someone came up behind us.
I'll say in hindsight that we had a really good run on the Dragon. We had a really good run, minus one particular event. But the fact of the matter is that it was fun. It was worth it. Travis can now say he's done it. We've certainly seen more complicated roads this tour than the Dragon. The Dragon it's a tourist zone, and that's fine. But we hammered it and we had a great time. There was one instance where basically, here's the deal. Look, cruiser riders, I get it. You like your style. You like what you're riding. And I'm happy you're happy. I'm glad that you enjoy. But when we as sport bikers ride up behind you, it is not your duty to inform us that you don't approve of our riding style, so you take up the entire road and don't let us by. Move out of the way. We'll leave our distance. We'll leave a full 5 bike lengths between us, but there are pull-offs everywhere. And when you get a chance, with a relaxed mindset, please open up the road so that we can get by you. You don't need to inform us that we should have bought American or we should have bought a Harley. Just get out of the way and let's all have fun. And if you give me a fist bump as I'm riding by, I will buy you a beer at the end of the day. You don't need to tell me that you're in charge. You're not policing the Dragon. Just let us all have a good time.
Yeah, and that's the thing is if you're going 20, just you don't even have to pull off. Just hug the right side of the road for a second. And
wave us by.
We'll slip through.
Yeah, let us know that we're allowed to pass you, and we'll do it. But don't inform. Yeah. So that happened, and it did not go well. But we finally got around everybody, and continued on our merry way. And then I tell you, after that I was running. I did not want to see those people ever again. There's a photo probably of us on the Dragon with me behind these cruisers, and I'm arching my back straight up, and I'm giving the big old dork thumbs up to whoever got the photo. It's a total. What's that called?
It was the Kill Boy, and there's the 129 photos.
Yeah, but when you it's a photo bomb. I photobombed cruisers, and I'm a better man for it. After that, what happened? I forget. Oh, Foothills Parkway.
Yeah, Foothills Parkway was nice and easy. It's like the BRP, but less interesting.
Yeah, mellow. It's a conclusion to the day, and
Menlo pretty. This cruise along that. Saw a couple other bikers on there. Saw some minis and some sports cars. And
Then landed at Bob's. We landed at Bob's and
enjoyed what he had to offer.
And I'm feeling the effects of all of that. We had some beer, we had some whiskey, some gin, we had some beer with our beer, we had some beer, quote, with our whiskey. It was a good hang. And now I'm in the grog, so we'll see how today goes.
And we're in the diner. But today's what? Just back roads?
Pretty much just back roads. We will do Joppa Mountain, which is like a baby dragon for dipshits. And that was day 5 yesterday, right?
Oh, day 5, yeah.
Shut off until tomorrow.
Day 6, end of day 6.
Yeah. This morning we talked about day 5. What was day 5? Day 5 was
Asheville to Knoxville.
Yeah, I mean that was a great day. Though I had to deal with a tire. We'll get to that in a moment. Now we're on day 6.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember today, man. So
today was pretty easy.
We left Bob.
We left Bob after a long, fun night.
Last night was awesome. Whiskey and beer with our beer, and then
some other things.
Yeah, he waves goodbye, and gave us the tutorial on getting our bikes around his house and headed out. And that's what it was. So for us as riders, today was kind of dull in a few respects because
there was some good.
There was some great riding. No,
but there's also a lot of just like urban, like you're in the suburbs of Knoxville or you're in the.
Well, we were in the middle of the route that I would send advanced riders back to Manchester, Kentucky. So anybody who's riding this route, they're not going to stay with Bob. Travis pointed that out to me. He's like, they're not going to stay with Bob. So where we started was in the middle of their return to the location of all of the other riders who were on the other different versions of the route, which would be Manchester. Now, you and I wanted to try to cover these roads and get to know them, so we didn't even bother stopping at Manchester. We just kept on going. But there was a lot of pretty open road. It wasn't necessarily challenging, but it was fun. Until
Joppa Mountain.
Joppa Mountain was fun. Joppa Mountain's already cool. That's a good time.
Yeah, so there's Joppa Mountain, and then there was another little section after that.
You're looking at the map now, right?
I'm looking at the
map. Good man.
Church Valley Road.
Yeah, that was good.
Cutting north, and then we were kind of on some straight bits. There's something Walker Ford Road. There's
that one's good.
Some moments there, but it's mostly pretty plain.
Yeah, because we're putting the advanced rider back with the crew, with the peoples.
And then we were on 33,
25 east too, right?
And then Lone Mountain Road.
Lone Mountain Road's pretty cool.
Yeah, some moments there, and it's nice and it's all pretty. And then we get on some highway again, 25E. 25E,
which is just like, okay.
And somewhere, I think along 25E, my top case exploded. And it started raining.
Okay, so it started raining. We're riding along, and then in the comms, I hear something I have not...
yeah. Well, we stopped in Boonville and waited out the heavy rain, and then kept going.
Right. I heard something I never heard before after that. I heard, stop, 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 stop. And then I was out of range. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I'm trying to find a turnaround. And I turn around and I find Travis is pointing the opposite direction. And it looks like your top case is cut in half. It looks like it's completely sliced down the center and horizontally sliced down the middle and just gone. So,
what happened is I'm going down the road.
Yeah.
And I feel something pressing against my back. And so I reach back there, and it's the lid of my top case, which is now blown all the way open. So it's split, like the little retaining straps have snapped, and it's wide open, clamshell, 180 degrees.
This is weird, man.
And so I come to a stop, and then Robin turns around, and I realize the only thing... And so the top has, my sleeping bag and my pullover in it, and the top is over the passenger seat now. And everything else that's in the main part is strapped in.
Yeah.
And the only thing that came out was one glove.
A fist bump for the strap, because I remember he
he bolted that into place so that he can actually hold things.
Yeah, the strap. I put in the hold down strap before the trip, so there we go.
So if you get like a small tarp, like a tiny 1/10 tarp, in case you ever needed it, you could layer it over top of everything. It would never come out.
Strap it. Yeah, I mean, I could also put my rain jacket on top of everything, or my pullover if I'm not using it. Yeah. And I just didn't pack it that way because
all that was missing was a glove. I found his glove and a turtle. I found his glove and a turtle.
Yeah.
But then, so then this freaking local,
dude, yeah.
I mean, he's from Oklahoma.
We happened to stop in front of his house.
He's like, I can help you out, and he's hooked us up. We fixed it.
Yeah, well, I thought he had some safety wire shut to make sure it stayed closed. I'm not sure if I just didn't close it or if it didn't latch right or something last time I opened it. But he ended up just giving us a bungee cord, and I bungee corded it and made sure it was.
What was his name?
Closed. I don't remember, man.
Did you give him a card?
No.
See, that guy...
We were in a hurry, and we were trying to... The rain started coming and catching us up.
Mad karma to that dude.
Yeah.
Kind human being.
Yeah.
That's kismet.
The Harley guy.
Yeah, as a sportster.
Yeah.
So the rain started getting going, and we weren't really having too much problem with it yet. But... we were gonna have trouble with it eventually.
Yeah, and then we hit a couple of actual kind of good roads there north of Boonville, and we're in the rain, whatever this road is here. That was pretty decent.
Most people, I think, would have gotten a lot darker than we did. We actually used it as an opportunity to do a comparison test of some tires.
Yeah, 2016 road 2016. I don't see a name on it, but
yeah, 2016 it's a state route. 2016, it's a circle around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's State Route 2016.
And then
Travis,
715,
what are you running on your, what's your...
Dunlop Road Smart 3s?
Dunlop Road Smart 3s, which are the answer to the Michelin Pilot Road 4. And I just got the Road 5s installed. And we decided, well, let's do a wet ride.
Yeah, they go on these twisty roads. Yeah, on these twisty roads.
I'm never really, we're not in a contained scientific environment. We're actually riding these bikes, and that can be kind of scary. So I try to just ease out of corners with a little bit more gusto. I put the bike in rain mode, but then I would lean through a corner, and then when I got towards the end of it, about 2/3 of the way, I'd be like, all right, let's bump it. I'd give it a gun. And it didn't ever...
and I think as we got going, we kind of kept just push a little bit more, push a little bit more.
Yeah.
We're not riding like we would if it was dry.
Right.
But I mean, by the end there, I was riding like I was dry.
Then I could trust the tires. When I rode back from our dinner, I was all over it, man. It was wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry. It was all over the place. I was fuck it. I beat the daylights out of it. But that's not where we're at. So we started testing the tires.
And then we turned down and did the Daniel Boone National Forest.
Yeah, Forest Road.
And we passed the place we went for dinner, and we went back there because we're staying in a dry county, but their county over, the Sky Bridge Tavern, which is also a hostel. Had we known, we would have just gotten beds there.
Yeah, we should have.
It was a cool place, live music, great staff.
Yeah, it's the environment.
Good craft beer selection, good bourbon selection.
Yeah. Yep.
And we do the Daniel Boone National Forest.
Mm-hmm.
And by then we go through the tunnel, the Nada Tunnel.
Yeah, which we got good footage of. That was pretty cool.
And then roll into Slade here where we are, and figure out whether we're going to keep going. I was done, so I was like, let's stop.
Yeah.
And we cut of cross the interchange with the turnpike there, and get back to the little Abner where we're staying. And I pull the bike up in front of the room to unload it, and I go back out to get something off the bike. I'm like, what's on my tire? And I go, and that's not what's on my tire, it's what's in my tire. And the pictures, well, if you're listening to this, hopefully you're on the ridingobsession.com, you see the pictures.
Yeah.
It's a 4-inch long, extended driver socket.
Yeah, visit our Instagram or Facebook page. It's there.
And it was all the I grabbed it with the with the vice grips, and I start pulling, and it just keeps coming, and it just keeps coming. I'm like, what?
The thing is, it's 4 inches of socket extension.
Yeah.
And this is a blunt object by default. It's a blunt object. Now, it just happens to be that the edges on this one were kind of sharp, but
it's such a freak occurrence that should end up in your fucking tire.
Yeah.
How? That's crazy. Into the sidewall. I mean, it was at lean too. It was at lean.
Yeah, it was on the shoulder of the tire, not in the sidewall, thankfully. So I just put a regular plug in it. It seems to be holding. We'll double check that in the morning. I rode it up to dinner and back with no problems. But
people are giving you grief about riding with a plug.
What the hell am I supposed to do?
I don't know. I mean, you could do a new tire, but I feel like
If it holds air, well,
plugs are badass.
what's his Rice Slim Smalls on Facebook said you should do a plug patch, which is like the professional fix.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I can, but you need to pull the tire to do that,
Right.
or at least need to break the bead.
But so we smothered it with the gum glue.
Yeah, and then just put a regular stick patch in there. So
I think it'll hold.
or stick plug. So that'll be fine for as long as it's not losing air. I'm fine with it.
Let's check over here.
Well, the thing was, it was holding air with the thing in there. Like it wasn't. I mean, it'd slow leak if I was riding it with the thing in there, but it wasn't leaking with the object inserted.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's gonna hold fine.
But yeah, then we went back to
We went back for dinner.
chilled
Chilled out, enjoyed the view.
Yeah, it's really nice. They had live music, and
Yeah.
it was just cool and cool. And a lot of locals come in there, and it's just a super cool place.
Yep.
And
What
there's
was
a
it called
guy,
again?
the something bridge,
Skybridge.
Skybridge Tavern,
Skybridge Tavern. Lots of good brews there.
and it's a proper tavern because you can get a bed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't think about that. Next time, if that. See,
Kind of a hostile situation is what it seemed like, but
it still doesn't correspond with the route.
I would have stayed. It had to be known.
Had we known.
We would have gone back that way and then just stayed there the night, because then we could have drank whiskey and another beer.
We could run a rally out of that.
Yeah.
There's so many good roads around here. It's unbelievable how many good roads there is.
Mm-hmm.
15 alone from the tavern to the hotel is a hoot.
And then the Skybridge Road that the hotel's on, heading south, is great.
Yep. Tomorrow should be a really good day. Tomorrow's the grand finale. Yeah. The grand finale, 350 miles. 350.
And then another for
Yeah.
something, I think, to get home. It's not actually, to get to Chicago, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's like 3 and change.
Yeah.
But to get to Madison, it's a lot. It's 4+.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll get all the way up to Madison. That's like 8 hours of riding from Indiana.
It's a lot. I don't mind it. I don't mind slapping at home. I really don't.
I hate being on the slab. Well, especially on this bike in its current configuration. I don't have wind protection. So being on the interstate's just a drag.
Also, we gotta mind the weather.
Mind the weather and the plug in the wheel.
Maybe we'll half-mast it. Maybe we'll figure ride. Indiana. Is that access to River Road?
The Mississippi River?
Yeah, if we went due west.
If we cross the entire state of Illinois,
That's super. Never mind.
it's like 4 hours.
Can we find some twisties on the way? Probably not.
Probably not.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah, there ain't nothing north of Bloomington.
We need to take a cue from Brian Ringer and bust the. What he said, what you need to do is get into the mindset of Mayberry and then ride from small town to small town.
Because at least then it's interesting.
At least it's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of what I just like. Do Google Maps and turn off all highways and just do that.
Yeah. Anything you want to add for day 6?
I got to get a late one before we leave Kentucky.
A late one?
Yeah, the soda.
A late one, yes. Okay.
Looks like there might be some good roads out of Terre Haute, maybe, but I don't know.
All right, shut that shit off.
Bedtime.
Day 7 tomorrow.
My flask is empty, just on a personal note.
I've got gin. I got you covered.
I just emptied my flask into my belly.
We've completed the route.
Well, this is day 8.
Yeah.
It's actually day 10.
It'd be day 9. Except, well, for us, it's day 10. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's day 10 for us. Technically, though,
This would not be part of the tour. This would be the
Day 8 of the tour. It'd be the go home day.
It's the go home day. It's a 7-day tour, but you have to arrive and you have to leave. So today would be the bon voyage. Or not? It's still bon voyage, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be the
That's
goodbyes.
just French for good trip.
Yes.
Good travels.
So everybody would be saying, giving their high fives, giving hugs, friending each other on social media, and now we're done. We have ridden the entire advanced Trip 7's route, and we're better riders for it. But yesterday, we got to talk about yesterday.
Yeah. So we woke up in northern Kentucky, right in the Daniel Boone National Forest.
Yeah. Yeah, we're recording.
And just rain, and then it rained. Then there was rain.
We rode. We got up in the morning and it was already dark, raining. It looked at 6 a.m. It looked like 6 p.m. and it was not going away. So we decided that we would skip the extent of Kentucky's route into Elizabethtown and then on upward to into Indiana.
Yeah, because it was a 350-mile day, and it would have taken us kind of southwest at first, then west, and back up northwest Indiana, all on twisty mountain roads.
Yeah, and the goal is to get basically to enjoy Kentucky for what Kentucky is, and then pick up the 450-150 combination in Indiana. That's state road. It's U.S. I think it's U.S. 450 and U.S. 150, which is great riding through the Brown County area of Indiana. Getting to that, we ride through Kentucky west, and it's gorgeous backcountry roads, but we skipped all of it because we figured, why don't we just go to the start of 450 and get out of this rain?
And hopefully get out of the rain, yeah.
How do we get there, Travis?
Yeah, well, I decided, let's take just, the highway and not the interstate. Let's take, the state highway, because there's going to be less trucks and spray and just garbage, and it'll be at least kind of scenic as opposed to the interstate.
Yeah, ditch the slab.
Yeah, but everybody in Kentucky drives 20 miles an hour under the speed limit.
They're afraid of rain. I'm amazed. This is hillbilly territory. These are my people.
Yeah, we were behind this, air quotes, school bus that had been, I'm guessing, converted into a redneck RV. And he was just going 20 miles an hour in a 55, right by the Wild Turkey Distillery.
Yeah.
And it's why? Whoa. And the other thing is, Kentucky is just rolling hills.
Yeah.
There's no passing zones.
Yep.
And it's pouring rain. It's difficult to see. We don't want to do any risky passes.
Yeah.
And then we finally lose him, and then get stuck behind a pair of pickup trucks doing 40 and a 55. It's
one after the other. We were never not stuck behind somebody.
Yeah.
In the rain, constant raining, and
there's a glorious 15 minutes where we weren't stuck. And I calmed down. I was this is what it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing 60, 65.
Yep.
And winding through the country, and it was nice.
And we picked up the 450, 150, and it seemed like it was dry.
Yeah, once we kind of got into Indiana a little bit, when we talked to a guy last night here in Terre Haute, and he's like, it didn't rain at all yesterday.
Yeah, they didn't see a drop. And that was the only profit we really saw, was that 450, 150 combo all the way here to
Terre Haute.
Terre Haute.
Yeah, we got into Bedford, and then we had to find a hotel, and everything's booked between
Indianapolis 500,
maybe some college stuff in Bloomington, and the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Everything was booked, so we had to come to Terre Haute. Just good anyway, puts us closer to home.
So let's see if we get a high five slap in here. That would be the high five slap that concludes this event. 7 states, 7 days, advanced level Trip 7's tour, plus a couple extra days just for transit. We're going to get the slab going. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Indiana. We hope it's going to stay that way with moderate rain on rare, sparse occasions.
There's some scattered showers up in the middle of the state, up in the middle of Illinois. We might cross through, but
after yesterday,
after 6 hours of pouring, drenching, soaking rain.
Yeah, it'll be a drop of water in the pan. So, for the RidingUpSession.com, I'm Robin Dean.
I'm Travis Burleson.
Safe travels, everyone.